Hey, everybody, welcome back once again to our accountability call. As always, I'm Adam Ringler, and whether you're watching this live or catching the recording, I appreciate you showing up mentally, physically, emotionally for yourself, because quite frankly, that is half the battle. So today I want to dig into our accountability call, and I want to focus on 5 themes that I think are going to hit home for us, right? For a lot of you out there, especially if you're a former athlete like me, who now lives in that sort of weird post-college gray area. No structured lifts, no conditioning tests to have to do. There's no coach maybe breathing down your neck about making sure that you do every single rep in the weight room, right? It's just real life and real responsibilities. So let's figure out how we can all stay consistent and keep showing up every single day. So first piece of advice that I want to make sure that I provide today is giving your future self a leg up. And what I mean by that is that one of the most underrated performance habits that you can build is actually doing favors for your future self, right? And this means prepping things the night before. This means organizing your space. It means making the path of least resistance as smooth as possible, right? And when we do this allows for us to really simplify our decision making, right? So let me give you a quick example of what that looks like. Say you train in the morning. If you wait until 6 a.m. to decide whether or not you're going to actually go to the gym or you're going to put on your running shoes, where your gear is, you're already sunk, right? Instead, try laying out your clothes the night before. Pack your gym bag a day earlier. Fill your water bottle. Write your training focus on a sticky note and leave it on your kitchen counter. And it doesn't have to stop at training, right? You can extend this to your nutrition, to your lifestyles, to everything. So things as far as simple as, pre-cooking your protein on Sundays, whether that's, grilling a batch of chicken thighs or chicken breasts or boiling a dozen eggs, throwing together a few overnight oats or Greek yogurt parfaits in a mason jar. So you got something quick that you can grab, right? When you do that, let me tell you, it makes a world of difference in your decision making. You don't have to kind of think, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do things? You've already made that decision, right? The goal here is to take one small action each evening that makes tomorrow a little easier. And maybe that means putting your supplements next to your coffee maker. Maybe it's queuing up your training playlist on Spotify or Apple Music the night before, or blocking out on your calendar for a 45-minute walk with your family or just with yourself, right? When you do that, the systems, they run automatically. They run smoothly. They make it so ridiculously easy for you to be successful. Now, the second thing I want to talk about today is replacing the game day feeling. Now, I've shared this on other calls before, right? So if you're a part of our Former Athlete Society, you're a member here, then you know I talk about this all of the time, right? One of the hardest things to replicate after college sports is the adrenaline, right? The bright lights, the crowd, the purpose, why you show up, it's all gone, right? And for a lot of us, that's not a fun thing to have to deal with, right? Because within that void, everything becomes sort of a slippery slope into apathy, right? So here's the challenge for you, right? Here's the challenge. How do we recreate that game day energy, right? What do we do? A lot of our former athletes, they chase it, whether it's CrossFit competitions, Hydrox is super growing and getting more crazy, right? And crazy popular, right? Local rec leagues, things like that. But I want to offer you something deeper, right? Redefine game day as any moment that you fully commit to, right? That you fully commit to accomplishing whatever goal that might be. So let me tell you about Trey. Now, Trey was a guy I used to work with 3 years, and he was a former baseball player of mine, and he doesn't compete anymore. He didn't go on and play professional baseball or in the minor leagues or anything. But every Friday morning, he trains like it's a home opener for him, right? So he blasts his favorite music. He lifts heavy. That's his ritual. That's his new game, right? So your version might look very different. Maybe it's running a time mile every Saturday, or tracking your pace. Maybe it's committing to a cold plunge every Sunday. Give it a name, make it yours, right? One tangible thing that you can do right now is pick a day of the week and declare it your game day. So create some sort of micro competition. Beat your rep target in your logbook. I do that every single day, right? I'm going to show you real live. Here's my logbook. I try to beat this every single day that I lift, either in repetitions or in weight, right? So you have to figure out ways to gamify your training, right? So add some theater, wear your old team shirt, right? Throw in the logo again, but you got to light the fire somehow, right? Now, third piece of advice today, I want to ask you, I want to demand you, right? You need to start tracking something, right? Now, it could be anything. It could be your hydration. It could be your macros. It could be your workouts. It could be frequency of workouts, but you can't improve what you don't measure. And most of us have probably gotten a little lazy here, right? To be frank, I'm gonna throw the sad emojis back on here. We've probably gotten a little lazy with what we do, right? You used to have a strength coach. He or she would probably log all of your lifts, right? Sport dietitians would probably check your weight, and your athletic trainers are testing hydration, all those things. Now it's just you. So what are you going to do? How are you going to show up for yourself? So pick one thing this week to track. That's it. Just one thing. Now, I want to offer you some ideas, right? Things you could do. You could track your hydration, right? I have a 50-ounce Yeti Yonder jug. I drink 4 of those. So I drink 200 ounces of water a day. So maybe you're tracking your hydration. You're making sure that it's empty by 3 p.m. Maybe you're tracking your sleep through a Oura Ring or a Ultra Human or a Whoop device. I use an Apple Watch now with Bevel Health, right? Maybe you're journaling, a 1 through 5 rating in your note apps about the quality of your sleep. But we should be tracking something, right? And you should be making some consistency marks with an X on a calendar, right? So in the background, I use this big ass calendar, right? You could track it that way for less than, a couple dollars a month, right? You could get one of those calendars. That's a win. Now, I used to work with this guy, Marcus. He was also one of our baseball players I used to work with prior to coming here to Colorado. And he used to track how many nights in a row that he ate dinner without his cell phone. And that's it, right? How many nights did he eat dinner without a cell phone distracting him? It's not performance on paper, but for him, it's about being present with his family now, something he struggled with post-sports. So your tracking habit should reflect what you need most. So start small and stay honest, right? Now, fourth thing that I think would add a lot of value in your post-athletic career lifestyle is the 15-minute rule for routines. And we all have those days where training feels like climbing Everest in flip-flops, right? I've been there, you've been there, sledging through. But here's what I want you to remember. Commit to just 15 minutes to yourself every single day. 15 minutes to yourself every single day, right? And when you do that, right, I'll do 15 minutes, and if I still feel like garbage, I'll stop. The trick is, rarely after 15 minutes do you ever stop. It's the 15 minutes that people struggle with, the first 15 minutes. I've had former athletes call me and say, Coach, I was about to skip my lift, but I remembered your 15-minute rule from the weight room. I walked on the treadmill, I did a little bit mobility exercises and 3 supersets, and next thing I know, I'm in the groove. Guys, we're athletes, right? We might take a little time to warm up, but once we warm up, we're ready to rock and roll and go. So here's your tangible action step. Create a script, create a pre-made 15-minute training script, and keep it in your notes app, right? On your cell phone. I don't know where my cell phone is. It's right here. On your cell phone. Now, when you don't feel like working out that day, just follow the script. 5 minutes of movement prep, maybe some hip circles, some arm swings, glute bridges, whatever it might be, walking on the treadmill. 2 rounds of some push-ups, some goblet squats, maybe some rows or something like that. I am telling you, I'm telling you, after 15 minutes, you'll be ready to rock and roll. You'll be ready to attack whatever workout that you wanted to do. It's not perfect, but it's keeping the momentum going, and that's what's really important. And momentum beats motivation every single time, right? Now, the last thing I want to leave us with is rebuilding your identity. And I've shared this in our former athlete society accountability calls, in our Q&A, and in our master classes, right? I think for a lot of former athletes, that's what's really been missing. You were the captain of your team. You're a D1 track star. You were a hooper with a scholarship, with NIL. Now what? I want you to rebuild your identity brick by brick through hard things that mean something to you. And maybe it's signing up for a local ruck or a Tough Mudder. Maybe it's joining a master's swim group or competing in your first jiu-jitsu tournament. Whatever it is, you have to make sure that it means something to you, but also that it demands something out of you. Now, I had a good friend of mine, Elijah. He used to play D1 sports. Now he's working a 9 to 5, and he's raising twin boys. He started doing hikes every single Sunday, 50 pounds on his back. I have a ruck backpack as well. I sent it to the women's basketball team. I was rucking through my neighborhood. For him, he says it makes him feel like an athlete again. So here's your assignment. By the end of this week, find something that scares you a little bit, something that requires some preparation, something with a date on the calendar that you could chase. Because once it's real, you'll start training like it matters again, right? That's so critically important. I want to wrap this up. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up for yourself. You need to show up for your future self like it's game day. So you got to find your game day again. You have to track something small, whether it's sleep or hydration or macros or fueling or frequency or training or whatever it is. Do the 15-minute version of a workout when everything feels heavy and you don't want to work out. And then finally, say yes to challenges that build your new athletic identity. Because this isn't about reliving the glory days. It's about building new ones on your terms. Now, I'll catch you later this week. We have a Thursday. I am traveling. I'm on the road. I'm on vacation, so I will not be here Thursday. I will be flying at 5 a.m. in the morning, so I will be struggling. Now, you bet your tails, I'm going to be doing all my sleep routine. I'm going to be wearing my eye mask. I'm going to be wearing my red light glasses. I've actually, you know what? Maybe tomorrow I'll share my fly strategies because there's one new thing I'm going to deploy on this, and it's some BFR. So nonetheless, I'll catch you all actually next week, and if not next week, towards the end of that week as well. So now listen, you're still in the game. You just got to keep rewriting the rules. So I appreciate you for showing up for yourself. Guys, it matters so much to me. I appreciate you, right? This is a special thing that we're building here, and I want you to know that. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys, everyone, next week.